internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So far, let's get right into today's video. We are going to go over depth and liquidity and why the price of XRP has to go over $100. I'm going to show you hardcore evidence on how that's going to happen and what's being done behind the scenes while 99% of the world's population is distracted with Bitcoin and other meme coins. And let's start off where we left off yesterday in terms of legislation in regards to stablecoins. UK announced yesterday, after I uploaded, that their stablecoin legislation is coming by July. Folks, do you see how this is all accelerating and how Ripple announced their stablecoin at the perfect time? They already knew they were doing a stablecoin for a very long time. And the next thing you're going to hear is the amount of licensing that they have gained and obtained for their new stablecoin, which they're going to be announcing very, very soon. But I want to give you guys a very good story going into this $100 XRP and why I know 100% it's going to happen. And some of you guys may not like my attitude towards why I'm so bullish and why I'm so certain it's going to happen, because I know how these guys operate. We managed millions of dollars working as a private banker. I myself have over 10 years in financial sector experience. So I know very well what's coming down the pipeline, and I know very well this thing takes time. I still remember the time we transitioned from paper to online. We stopped paper and we created a new infrastructure, a new layout where customers would be onboarding through online and all the documents were online. We were getting rid of paper. And right now what's happening behind the scenes is the infrastructure that moves value across the world is being changed, and blockchain and DLT is being introduced. And Bitcoin is not the answer. Just think about the fact that there is an unknown entity out there holding over 1 million Bitcoin. 1 million Bitcoin. An unknown entity, and people cry and bitch about XRP being held in escrow by Ripple. Give me an effing break, okay? Take a look at this. So November 28th, 2012, it was the first slice of Bitcoin. It was about $12.20, okay? And now we're at $65,000 to an asset people like to call a store of value. Let me tell you one quick definition update for what store of value means. A store of value doesn't mean it comes down $8,000 in one day. You cannot call that a store of value. I'm very bullish Bitcoin. I hold Bitcoin, but the long term of Bitcoin, I believe it's going to go to zero 100%. Everything, Bitcoin is a Napster, is what I'm going to call it, okay? Early 2013, Bitcoin kicked off the first major bull run. It went from $13 to over $1,000. And think about it, this was purely speculation, and this asset was not being used by any regulated entity. And people want to sit there with the audacity to tell me that XRP is not going to go to $100. You guys are a waste of skin. Pardon my language. But I know it's hard for some of you guys to take this all in because XRP is at 50 cents. But the ones that understand where this is all going, well, the ones that don't, you're going to understand right now, because I'm going to show you right now. Bitcoin has flaws.
Technology called XRP. XRP, originally was built by some engineers who had seen some of the flaws of Bitcoin and the challenges of scalability around Bitcoin.
2010. There was over 180 billion Bitcoin created out of thin air. This was a big, big problem. It allowed remote attackers to bypass intended economic restrictions and create many Bitcoins via a crafted Bitcoin transaction. In layman terms, someone found a way to flood the code and create a ridiculously large amount of Bitcoin in the process, where Satoshi Nakamoto had to come to the rescue, right? Here we have 92 billion and 92 billion. Add those two up. And Satoshi came out and said, guys, everybody stop generating. And he put a fix to the problem. And this kind of gave me the same vibes of AMM when it went live and we had, problems and all the devs came together and they fixed it. I mean, I don't think people understand what's about to happen on the XRP ledger. And here we have Satoshi saying the patch is now uploaded and resolved. But this is just to show you that there's a lot of problems with Bitcoin, and I know some of you guys may not want to hear that, but the long term of Bitcoin, it's not going to be around. I hold Bitcoin, I'm very bullish Bitcoin, but 40 years from now, 50 years from now, I just don't see this thing being here, okay? But now let's get into me explaining the whole liquidity and depth, which we're gonna do more videos on this so you guys really understand this. And do you guys remember Daniel Eden? Of course you guys do. We covered him many, many times. He's currently at the BIS Innovation Hub, and prior to that, he was at R3. But the biggest takeaway here is Daniel Eden. I know you guys hear me say behind closed door meetings, these silently and all that stuff. It's true. Because I'm gonna play you guys a little montage, and then we're also gonna get into this little contest that went on. This is Ripple CBDC Innovate 2022. And I missed this. This is crazy. The fact that one of the judges that was here, this was a Ripple-led initiative. One of the judges here is your one and only, smash that like button, Daniel Eden, along with MasterCard, Ripple Partners, Digital Dollar Project, Ripple Partners, Accenture, Ripple Partner, we have Ripple here. Look, the writing's on the wall. What's Daniel Eden doing here in 2022 being a judge for a Ripple-led initiative? Because they're all in this together. Check this out.
Banks are also, at least when they talk to us, they may tell you different things. They are hesitant to convert things into a currency, a cryptocurrency right now, because of the volatility in the currencies, because of the fact that you don't have the deep liquidity that you have in, for example, the dollar as a clearing unit at the end of the day.
So when I talk about the $10 trillion that we're processing every night, and if you think about having to fully reserve $10 trillion to be able to make those payments every day, that's a lot of liquidity that you're taking out of the system.
If you think about the number of different currencies and how much liquidity needs to be available to make those transactions, it becomes less and less efficient.
And liquidity is sort of the secret sauce to making that work.
Because there simply often isn't enough liquidity there. And when I say liquidity, what I mean is depth of the market. It means that if I want to now send, 100 Swiss francs, maybe I'll find 100 Swiss francs for pounds. Maybe I'll find a counterparty. But if I want to send 100 million, I may not find a counterparty. So there isn't enough liquidity, maybe, between Swiss francs and pounds for me to send $100 million every day. But there may be more liquidity if we pool all of our liquidity into one type of currency. Once you pool all that liquidity, you can create more efficient pricing structure.
The currencies, because of the fact that you don't have the deep liquidity that you have in, for example, the dollar as a clearing unit at the end of the day.
Funding, and instead you can use a digital asset to have global liquidity on demand.
Because an efficient digital asset can really solve some of the key problems in global liquidity. If with a really efficient digital asset, something like XRP, again, that's what we believe will be the most efficient, you can now reduce trillions and trillions of capital from being tied up.
You need deep liquidity and depth to maintain and move large transactions on the platform. And do you guys remember also Daniel Eden stating this? The tipping point is going to be once we have more value in the new network, rather than the old network. That's going to be the tipping point. Listen very carefully. I'll play it twice.
Kind of tipping point and threshold at which there is more value in the new network over the old network. And I think that that's kind of what we're all kind of circling around, is in different business tipping point and threshold at which there is more value in the new network over the old network. And I think that that's kind of what we're all kind of circling around, is in different business.
Because they can't just come in here and just flood it with $10 trillion daily volume. And remember, McLaughlin at Citi said the same thing. He stated there's going to be trillions in daily volume.
Is that every element of doing this in a regulated environment takes some time and takes some effort and takes some coordination and takes a lot of work in terms of standards and standard setting as well. So, for me, I'm really excited to see how this tech is going to really massively scale over the next few years into many trillions of volume and scale on a daily basis.
Raju?
Many trillions of volume and scale on a daily basis.
Raju?
On a daily basis.
Raju?
This is what they're anticipating. And now let me show you guys a rough little breakdown of how this is going to look. So really get close to the screen. Some of you guys may have already seen this, but let's go over this now, given all the information that we have covered over the past couple of weeks in terms of depth and liquidity. Now, this may make sense to some of you guys that maybe it didn't when I covered this a while ago. This is very important. Take a listen. Let's say one XRP is at $32 and total value that we're going to be moving is 556 billion. And as you guys could see, I have done different transactions. A $200,000 transaction that will utilize 6,700 XRP. A $2 million transaction that will utilize 89,000 XRP. A $3,200 transaction that will utilize 100 XRP. And there's only maybe 20 transactions. So in your head, just know this is going to happen like 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 transactions happening in 3 seconds, 5 seconds, every single day, non-stop. So this system cannot fail. This system cannot go down like Solana or have unpredictable fees like Ethereum or have network congestion like Bitcoin. Everything that I just stated, all facts, okay? So now we're going to be utilizing about 17 billion XRP. And let's just say there's 100 billion XRP out there. We're being very conservative with this breakdown. 17 billion XRP, that's a lot of XRP. And that, doesn't look good if you're trying to scale it. So when you have supply and you have demand, what happens? The value goes up.
Joey and I sat in a meeting not that long ago with, some of the largest institutional money in the world trying to get smart about crypto. They owned zero on that day. I don't know if they do today. But as they enter the market, you have fixed supply, increasing demand. You don't have to go to MIT to know what's going to happen.
So now let's take a look at more transactions. $1.5 trillion in value. And as you guys could see, we have the DTCC involved now, Treasury, Tokenized Assets Hub. I mean, the use cases, they're endless. Like, this is why I say it's very conservative. Now think about a couple transactions here. There's maybe 60 if we're lucky. 48.6 billion XRP is being utilized. And now when we talk about market depth and liquidity, let's just say there's some sort of big move that you got to do. And I'm going to use this as an example. Let's say we want to move $1 trillion, but we're going to have a problem because we don't have deep liquidity. Because if we do come in here trying to move $1 trillion, for example, we're going to have to utilize, 99 billion XRP, and there's going to be a supply shock. So what they need to do for the next infrastructure is they can't have supply shocks to a certain degree that will make the price of the asset go up. So that's why I always say when the price of XRP goes up, it's going to stay there forever, because then you're creating deep liquidity and an asset that has like a deep liquidity. This is what they're looking for. So this is still a $32 XRP with 1.5 trillion, almost half the circulating XRP being utilized. That's a no-no. You got to understand there's going to be loans, there's going to be line of credits, there's a lot of use cases that XRP is going to be used. And now let's scale it to 2.5 trillion, 24/7, never stops. And now we're at 80 billion XRP being utilized. Again, it doesn't make sense for it to be at $32 for one XRP and maintain this sort of liquidity and volume. It doesn't make sense. You guys heard them say, I mean, just JP Morgan alone, $10 trillion overnight. Citibank, they're doing over 6 trillion. And now let's scale it up a little bit more, $32 XRP, 3.5 trillion. I mean, now you're looking at 111 billion XRP being utilized. Boom. Go ahead and smash that like button if a light bulb went off in your head. Because now we're going to show you the $100 XRP, 3.5 trillion, 35 billion XRP being utilized. It still seems like a lot, right? And that's why I say $100 XRP price target that I give is very, very conservative, not financial advice. But this right here, if you don't understand this, maybe rewatch it. Regardless of XRP being settled in 3 seconds, you need to understand there is thousands of transactions and dozens of different use cases that is going to be put on the XRP ledger, where XRP is going to be locked up for days, weeks, or even potentially months. And think about all the retail investors that are out there that are holding XRP that are not going to be selling any kind of XRP. And now let's just scale it to give you guys a better perspective at a $5 trillion value, $100 XRP, 55.5 billion XRP will be utilized. So I'm going to leave it at that. That I hope, lit up some light bulbs in your heads, but the writing's on the wall. Just always remember liquidity and deep markets is what they're looking for. And they want to pool everything together. They want to connect every single economy together. With that being said, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you guys made it this far to the video, there's going to be a very, 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 very special announcement coming very, very soon. If you guys saw my little video on Instagram, which I have since deleted, some of you guys may already know what's coming up on the horizon. Don't comment down below. Well, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. We're going to wrap this up. And like I said, get ready for this announcement. Smash that like button. I don't think you guys are ready for this. I can't believe it's happening. With that being said, have a wonderful week, and we may do a double header today.
At the end of the day, obviously, a good product, good service that solves a real world problem, provides real utility. It's not just about speculation and get rich quick and pumping up the price of crypto. I mean, all these things will line up. I think they're starting to line up. I see the companies are really stepping up.
Things that might go wrong. Because I don't want anybody watching at home or in the room to be like, wow, the BIS Visa, and they think that the world's just awesome and Ripple's going to solve it. But obviously, this is a hard problem. Otherwise,
building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch. I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.